Well, welcome back to Little Bent Wrench. If you don't know, I'm Trenton, and I have a problem with antique tractors. It started off with just Alice's, and then all of a sudden now I've ventured into the other brands, as you can see in that last video, and I appreciate everyone who has subscribed and has watched my videos pretty regularly. I really appreciate it. I just want to throw that in there while I'm talking here. But I think I have a problem. But anyways, let's go down through the line of them. I got most of them here. I'm just missing a couple that are in the shop, a couple that are sitting down in a different spot, and then I still have two up there to the place where I got these tractors that I haven't got yet. So I just want to do a quick walk down through and we'll go from there. Most of them I got running, so let's get started. Alright, so first up I got this 941 diesel, and somebody in that last video commented about the Sherman. Oh, good job. You noticed it before I even did. I had it actually here, walked out to look at it versus something else from the Selecto Speed diesel that I'll show you in just a couple minutes. In the shop, I had to look at something. I don't remember what it was. And I noticed the Sherman lever, the over and under than the direct drive Sherman. So you did a good job, because you didn't hardly see that lever in the last video. But this one's a pretty clean tractor. Obviously the wheel was junk. As we were towing it one time, the tire is junk too, so I'm not overly concerned about it. But she popped the tube. Yeah, it's really nice looking in there, isn't it? But yeah, I think we'll get this. We'll get these diesels to run. I don't think. I know we will. But these fuel filter housings are really being a pain, if you know what I mean. We can't get a gasket to work. So we actually cut a piece of inner tube, and that didn't work because they're not a normal fuel filter housing. You have to tighten them down on there. You know what I mean? So you spin the gasket. It's just different. It's forward, you know what I mean? So we'll get that. Had some water in the rear end. This one sat outside with that Farmall C. It's not surprising it had water in the rear end. So, but other than that, that one, we'll get that one to run. This is a 981 Selecto Speed. This tractor actually ran pretty easy. The only thing I had to do was a fuel line. I had to I consider it cobble. I hate to do this, but for the time being, I didn't want to bend a new line, so I just had to cut it off and add a piece of hose in, and I had to change the fuel shutoff valve up in there because it was froze up. So, but other than that, this thing fires right up, and there's, you know, Selecto Speeds. This is the first one I've ever drove, and they're different. I'm just gonna say they're different. So, but I mean, it'll fire right up. Might have to have two hands for this, but so then you got your, you know, park, reverse 2, reverse 1, neutral, and your first, and then you just let your foot off the inching pedal. As you can see, I'm moving. And then all you have to do is hook her up in a second. She goes a hair faster. You might try to quit. It's kind of cold here this morning. Then you got third. Well, these Fords also have power steering. You know how nice that is? Ford, you know, it's automatic, but you see that? There's a reason why it's called a jerk-o-matic, because it jerks you when it goes. This one runs pretty smooth though for just basically getting her fired up, you know what I mean? I've never had a Ford with power steering. Oh, that is the cat, you know what. It just steers so easy. Now, there's people around here pull these Selecto Speeds, but they don't pull them overly heavy. So I'm just wondering, how heavy can you pull a Selecto Speed Ford? I'd like to find out. If anybody has any experience with doing the antique tractor pulls with them, especially the select those speeds, but from what I understand is you don't even have to use the engine pedal to go into reverse. It will just punk its way in. On the cold side, but yeah, that's a pretty nice tractor, really is. Let's keep on moving down the road here. This is just a normal little 8N, nothing special. If there's a couple of these tractors that I am probably going to sell, and this is one of them. I don't need another 8. How many 8Ns do you need? You know what I mean? So if you're at all interested, just leave a comment and I'll get back to you if you're around the New York area, you know what I mean? From the Massey Harris to the Massey Fergusons. So I thought that, I didn't know any of that information, so when I read through those comments, that was pretty neat. And this one's a pretty clean tractor too. We just threw the back blade on here just to use it, you know what I mean? Because this one's got the 2-stage clutch, so you push it down the first bit, and then that releases, so you can shift it, and then that gives you live hydraulics. So it makes it a nicer tractor to use versus we had a TO35 that did not have that. And when you push the clutch in, you lose your hydraulics, and that kind of sucked. But other than that, it's a really pretty good tractor. Well, next, let's get started on the Farmalls. In the group of the 20 tractors that I got, I ended up with 10 Farmalls. I'm actually pretty excited about that because I've kind of always wanted to be able to take a group of Farmalls pulling, a group of Alice's pulling, and now I have more than enough Fords that are Selecto Speeds or have Shermans that I'm going to be able to take them pulling and pull pretty much every class that I would normally pull with the Alice's, you know what I mean? So I got a pretty good group, and they all run pretty good. And I say that, and I'm going to talk about the Cub first. So, got the Cub to fire up the other day. I don't think that's the right carburetor by any means. I don't think a Cub was meant to have a choke cable, but it does work, so I'm not complaining. But it fires up, and it runs like it's got a stuck exhaust valve. In the last video, you saw that, or you heard me talking about that I was fighting with stuck exhaust valves on that BN. So this one's not surprising. A flat head, so they're easier to get stuck. I got a gasket kit coming for it. I know that's what it is. So once it comes up, get the hood pulled off, and usually it seems like I can just get it to roll over in the right spot, fill it full of penetrating oil, and you can just start lightly tapping it up and down, and they'll break free. But I actually ended up getting a one bottom plow and a set of discs that's on the trailer still. So I'll show you that once we walk over that way. Oh, and that's a sickle bar more for the C with the 2-point hitch. But it's a pretty clean little Cub, it really is. I have the battery boxes, the lids and sides, and all the stuff. They've all kind of just ended up on the bench in the shop, if you know what I mean. Because you're working on them, and I'm not taking the battery box apart to put the battery in it. Every tractor. So, but that one's pretty clean. This little A, this thing was unbelievable. We've never done this before on a tractor, but this one, I mean, you can see the bottom of the sediment bowl's got some stuff in it, right? Well, so when we went to look in the tank had, I'm going to say 1/4 inch worth of dust, like straight rust dust. The tank is pretty clean. It just had that fine dust in it. So we actually vacuumed the tank. It sounds weird, but it worked. We got most of it. I mean, that's just a little tiny bit. I think by the time we put some more gas in it and run it more, bounce it up, stir it up all the time, I think this tank's going to clean right up pretty good. Because, I mean, we did the fuel bowl, blew out the fuel line. We took the carburetor right off and cleaned it. This has actually got a cast zenith on it. A little bit different versus most of them are that aluminum. But got it to get spark, and it literally fired right up and ran perfect. It's still 6 volt, the lights work, it charges. I couldn't believe how good this little A is, really. So, as you can tell, this one's got a nice 711 224 Field and Road Firestones. I'm all happy about that. So, then moving on, you see I'm missing the B and the BN. I'll show you them in just a minute. But we're going to move on to the C. So the C had been sitting outside. In the last video we talked about that it was, the winter came quick and I didn't get it put away. And I would say that's about right. Maybe it sat out another winter. I can say, I remember this tractor sitting out, but I don't remember how long. You know what I mean? So, but we drained a little bit of, it was actually over full on engine oil, but there was no water in it. But we drained it out before we even touched it. The rest of the oil seems fine in it. And it had gas. We put the spark plug tester in it. It had spark, and it fired up, running on the gas that was in it. It didn't run very long, but it did run. So we took the carburetor off, cleaned it out, drained the rest of that old gas off, put new gas in it, and it just fires up and runs. I mean, I don't think Farmall C's are meant to have a solenoid, but it all works, so I'm not complaining. It actually makes it a nicer tractor. The Farmall C, I cannot believe I'm saying this, but it's actually a nice tractor to use. The transmission's in the right spot. The gears, the first gear's geared a little tall to tow stuff with. I'm hoping it pulls pretty good, which Farmall C's always do. The thing seems like it runs, if you know what I mean, which all of them Farmall C's kind of seem like they scream, but it's a pretty good tractor. I don't know why they would have painted over the decals. You know what I mean? I don't get that. And obviously, I don't know if you can quite tell, it must have had a Super C decal on it at one point for some reason, even though the tag says C. Next, let's move on to the H. As you could tell, the H was probably, out of all my tractors, I'm betting the H was sitting in that building the longest. It was blocked in between my buddy's 2 tractors that he bought, that 230 and 240, and there was no way to get it out without moving them 2, so yeah, obviously it was sitting there longer than them. And this thing was kind of unbelievable. The tank, I'm not going to say it's the cleanest tank in the world, but I've seen a lot worse. And this was obviously an early one that, they start on gas and then switch over to the stillet. Is that how it worked? Yeah, I think that's how it worked. But the distillate tank's no longer hooked up. It just runs off the normal gas tank, so, which I prefer. But, I mean, this thing, we cleaned the fuel bowl because it was, had some snot in it. Put fresh gas in it, and it carried on a little bit when it first fired up. The float was stuck down, so she was sitting there ripping on gas, you know what I mean? But after it sat there, we let it run for, filled it full of coolant, and let it run for, I don't know, it probably ran for an hour and a half. By the time it was done with that, it cleared right up. It's just not saying that it won't need the carb gone through, a carb kit, but when we're doing our order, the carb kit was $4.99. We ordered a carb kit for it, if you know what I mean. But it's got a pretty good set of 12 438s. I know that's what they are. I don't see it on there though. Power marks. And power marks, honestly, they're not my least favorite tire. Do I think they're the best looking tire in the world? No. But they have been surprising how good they actually pull on certain tractors. And a Farmall H, I think they'll do just fine. Hopefully this thing's only 4,000 pounds, so I can pull it 4 and 45, just like every other H in the world, because usually 5, they don't have enough power. This one seems like it runs pretty good, but I couldn't tell you that for sure. Every tractor seems like it runs pretty good when you're just driving around in circles. You know what I mean? So, next, we're going from the H. Now we're going to switch over to the M. And I've never drove a Farmall M before this one. They're kind of neat tractors. They really are. But this is the diesel one. And I've had some international guys tell me that's not the right motor. And I totally agree. They were supposed to start on gas and switch over to the diesel. But I have no idea what the motor is. I mean, as you can tell, it's got an IH stamp on it right there. So, it was something international at some point in its life, but I couldn't tell you. It runs pretty good, I'll tell you that. This one's got the 9-speed option, which, from what I've looked up and what I've played with it, they only increase your speeds in reverse and then first through 4. It takes your normal first gear, per se, and I don't want to say doubles it, but it makes it go, your first gear is noticeably faster. And so is your reverse, let me tell you that. It will haul a mail in reverse with that 9-speed engaged. Yeah, I guess that's how you say it. But it'll haul a mail. But it's just a neat option to have. I'll probably never use it, but it's a neat option to have. It's been sitting for quite a while because the fuel filter, obviously it should have one that looks like that, it had rotted out right there. As I turned the fuel on, and it fired up. She was leaking a little bit of diesel. I let her leak just for that little bit, but then I put a new fuel filter on it. And you wouldn't believe the amount of sludge I had to pull out of the bottom of that fuel filter housing. It was unbelievable. But now she doesn't leak. It seems like it runs pretty good, so I'll plan on pulling this. Hopefully it weighs somewhere around, I don't know, 6,000 or so. That seems to me where the M's pull about the best is starting at 6. So we'll see how much she actually weighs, because I don't think the tires are loaded, but it's so hard to tell. I blew up the tires, but they didn't sound like they had stuff in them. They're the old 15538 Delta. I mean, these tires have seen the years. That's one way to put it. But it's a pretty clean old M. It really is. Actually, the funny one about this one is the one morning before I was getting the rest of the tractors out, I wanted to try to get one to run. And this one was down here, so I threw a battery in it, cleaned the connections, you know, the whole 9 yards when it comes to that. Well, I reached up and hit the key just to make sure I had power to the starter. It rolled over and fired up. I had cleaned the fuel bowl, hadn't even put fuel in it yet, and it fired up. So here I am trying to get it to shut off because I don't want it to run out of fuel. So, yeah, this one ran pretty easy. But last night, this one was sitting inside down in the lean-to, and we wanted to get them all out so I could talk about them like this. And it was cold last night. I want to say it was probably 25, 26, something like that, versus what it is now. And this thing smoked out the whole area. It's got no preheating device by any means on it, and it just plain smoked. I couldn't believe it. It was actually kind of neat, but it was chooching, I guess you could say. But anyways, that's enough about the letter series Farmalls for this minute. Let's move over to the 3-digit. I don't know. I got a couple of these newer square hood internationals. Let's say that. This is just a nice little 240. It's, I don't want to say a useless tractor, but it doesn't have 3-point hitch. You just got a drawbar, PTO, and a belt pulley for what that's worth. But it fires right up pretty much instantly. The choke cable is rusted up, so that's on the order. But I mean, it just fires up, and it's got perfect power steering. Unbelievably perfect. We're using this right now to be like the push tractor with the tow bar to push tractors and pull them in and out of the shop. And it's so much nicer than any other of those Farmalls. Well, besides that, Ford's got power steering, but power steering just makes the tractor so much nicer. Oh, but the other thing is, this one you can't run it very long because the thermostat housing, or the thermostat's stuck, and it'll boil over after, I don't know, 5 minutes or so. So I got the thermostat and the gasket. That's coming because it's a really nice tractor, and I'd like to actually, I don't think I'll use it, but it'll get a bigger set of tires. It's got 11.2 28s on it right now. I'd put at least the next size bigger, 12.4. I have them all on wheels. I put that on it to try to pull it. I don't know if it would or not. First gear definitely goes slow enough, but it's just a pretty clean little 240 utility. And next up, we got the two Farmall high crops. This is a 340. This thing's a pretty clean little tractor itself. TAs all work in them. The tires leave some to be desired, but I'm not complaining. If I ever found a different set of Firestones, I'd probably put them on the H and then switch the H tires over to these, because these are just 12.438s is all they are on an H wheel. Nice drawbar. Somebody in the comments mentioned that the drawbar in the last video before the last one, so 2 videos ago, was a little low. And the reason it's low is because they were, I'm sure, using it for pulling. I'm positive of it. And our hitch height, depending on where you go pulling, is 17, 19, or 20, depending on what your tractor weighs and where you go. So this tractor probably wasn't 20, but it was 17 or 19. But it is just a clean tractor. And there you go, see the serial tag. 340 high crop. Neat way International did their high clearance tractors. Well, that one's pretty good. And then this 504, this one's up there. I mean, the 340's high, but this 504, when you're sitting on it, it's up. I got this one running yesterday. This one was about as easy as it could be. The float stuck, so I got that yanked off so that way it could drain out before I get the gas shut off. TA works in it. The only thing this one does, and maybe an International guy could tell me, is it's got one heck of a hydraulic whine when it's running. I don't know. The power steer, it's obviously, she's got a leak up under there somewhere for the power steering, but it's just whines, and I don't know, maybe I'm missing. We put some hydraulic oil in that plug. Am I missing the spot to put hydraulic oil in it? Can some International guy tell me? I'm not an International guy, I'm an Alice guy. By the time I'm done with these, I'll be an International guy though, that's for sure. But tank's pretty spotless in this one. 9.542s, like I said in the last video. Big, odd, skinny tires. It is, I don't know, these high crops are just neat. Got a set of wires coming because these wires aren't right. Another thing is these, well, actually this one don't, but all of those letter series Farmalls, they have Champion plugs in them, and they're D21s. And I don't know about you guys, but I am not a Champion spark plug fan. I like my auto lights, and the Alice's especially. I read in the Red Power forum that the auto light 3116s are what you should run in everything, pretty much from the Cub right on up through even to this 504. What do you guys like to run? I mean, all these still have points in them. They're just good old tractors. The points are good points. They're a little corroded, but nothing serious. What do you guys like to run for plugs? Is the D21s better, or are the Autolite 3116s the better plug? I'm not looking for power wise. I just want to won't follow them all the time. Does that make sense? And let me know. Drop a comment if you have an opinion about those plugs. Like I said, I'm not a Champion spark plug guy, but all these Champions are probably the good old Champions. You know what I mean? From, I'm gonna say the 80s at the newest. And that's probably when Champion plugs were still good. Now I don't feel they're as good as what they used to be. You put a Champion plug in, I think that you're lucky if it lasts a day. That's my opinion. But let's show you the stuff that I got on the trailer. Alright, so starting off on this side, we'll go around over there. I got the disc for the 1-point hitch like the Cub has. And everything actually turns on it too, which is the amazing part. But it's obviously was sitting down in the dirt, but I'm happy to have that. And I got a carry-all for the one hitch, so you could put a piece of, you know, some boards on there, and the Cub could turn into a tool getter. Let's just be honest, it'll never be as good as that Pioneer for a tool getter. I don't know how you get on them. Can somebody explain? The Cub and the A are just about as bad. How do you guys get on those tractors? The B and the BN are pretty easy. C, H, M, they're all easy. Those two are just a pain to get on and off. There, my rant's done. But this was up there. If this is what I think it is, this is probably pretty unique. From what I can tell, with that 4-bolt pattern like that, it's a single front wheel for one of them Ford 900 Fords. I think. If this is very, very unique to me. It's not an Alice, because they didn't have Alice. I don't believe it's a Farmall, being this color. And plus, they don't really bolt on that same way, I don't think. Maybe? I don't know. I'll have to look into it more, though, because I'm looking at the H over there, and it kind of looks like it. But, I don't know. I saw it up there. I had to bring that home, because that is just different. This is a, you know, one of them rocking saw things. For Dad will probably end up using this on, probably Grandpa's Jubilee would be my guess. Maybe one of them 900 Fords, because the exhaust goes up instead of back in your face. But it mounts on the 3-point hitch, and then he can use it up there in the wood lot, and he can cut off his slabs from the sawmill, and it'll just be easier than grabbing them with the excavator and chainsawing them, because it's just slow. But we found that, and the belt pulley for that's up there. These are just some 11-224s. The tires aren't what I wanted. I wanted the center with the wheel. They're they're an 8-bolt, so they're the same as what an Alice would be in a 24-inch. Or that 240 also. Because the 240, I think, could have 24s on it. So I saw them. I had to bring them home. This is a 9-bolt pressed steel wheel. Never actually measured it. It's clean. The valve stem's perfect. I don't know, what's that, probably 10 inches. I mean, my fingers don't quite reach across there. Oh, it's a pretty nice wheel. That's a stupid piece of aluminum ramp that we found in the back of a junk truck that, I don't know, never rot away, so you kind of have to bring it home. This is a 2-bottom fast hitch plow for the C. Probably never use it, but I have a C. Just a brush guard, a seat. This is that belt pulley with bolt on for the PTO, you know what I mean? For that, whatchamacallit, the sawmill saw blade thing. Extra belt pulley, some pulling plates. Look at these. These are neat. That's a matching pair of license plates from 1934. Matching pair. They have stayed together for, what, we're in 25 now, so they've stayed together for 91 years. And then this license plate is from 1926. I mean, this license plate is 99 years old. Unbelievable. Nice big hook for what, I don't know, but I see stuff, I grab stuff. I'm a hoarder. Yep. Of good stuff. And then I got on this side, found a couple sets of wheel weights, an odd Farmall weight. I have no idea what this plow would be for besides a yard decoration. I think is what it'll end up being. I think these are steel wheels for that 9N. From what I can look up in the books, that this is what they look like. These are 7-bolt 30 34s or 36s. I don't really know exactly what they are, but they're 7-bolt wheels.